Yes, 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 yes. What's going on, family? What's going on? What's going on? Let's get straight into it. I have three watches I want to go over for today. What I will be watching for today, we do have FOMC minutes today at 2 p.m. Eastern. Um, and just to go over, right? So, what is FOMC minutes? The FOMC minutes is when the Federal Reserve they they've already met at the end of July. So every month they meet. It's a closed door meeting. And why is it important? It's important because they give hints as to what they're anticipating to do with interest rates and everything like that, right? So investors are going to be paying close attention to what the minutes have to reveal later on. So it's not anything that's live or anything like that. This is a meeting that they had a couple weeks ago, and they're just releasing all of the notes and everything from the meeting. So we're gonna be looking to see if they're hinting at raising, holding rates, or lowering rates, or whatever the case may be. So, um, as you know, you have technical analysis when trading, right? That's reading the charts, the candles, everything like that, price action, and then you also have the fundamental side, right? So we can't ignore the fundamental side. We got to use fundamental and technical analysis together. They go together like peanut butter and jelly. So let's get straight into it, man. I got three watches for today that I really like. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with this SPY. So let's go ahead and write down the levels that we have on SPY, and then we'll break it down. All right. So the first level we have is 767. 767. Right. Let's go ahead and map that out. Next level we have is 769.2. 769.2. 760. And 772, right? So these are the key levels I have on SPY. Only looking at taking SPY off of these levels if we don't, gap or anything like that. Also, too, with the Fed minutes being at 2 p.m. today, not really expecting much in the morning session. So we're just going to come to the market in the afternoon and trade the afternoon session to close to avoid any, unnecessary chop and stuff like that. Because if you watch the market today, you can see that SPY did nothing but just range, right? Let's go to the 5 minute. So this was today's session, right? Nothing, right? Straight sideways, barcoding. We were able to catch some upside actually. We took calls off of the 767 demand bounce right here, and we just took up into those highs. Um, small win, small win. I think we took about 17%, 16, 17%. So yeah, we're looking for a move into tomorrow. Market wants to move. That's one thing we do know. So let's go back to the hourly on SPY and break down these levels, right? So 767, this is the first level on high watch, right? 767 is this higher time frame, this hourly demand, right? So we can see back over here, if we look left, 767 held as demand here, and then we went to run into all-time highs off of this level. And previously, this was a breakout level where we ran into highs as well, right? So this is the last line of defense for SPY today. It's going to be this 767. You can see we actually broke a little bit below it. Post market got down to 766.7. It looks like. So we'll be using this level 767 and that pre-market low as our bottom. So pretty simple. If we can hold this, we're looking at upside. If we break below, we're looking at downside. So also 769.2, right? 769.2. This is last week's low. This is last week's low. So in between, anywhere in between here, it could be real rangy as we've seen today. But if we reclaim 769.2, 770 area, we got a gap all the way to 772, right? So we can see a nice gap. Notice SPY is doing a falling wedge right here, which is a reversal, potential reversal pattern, one of the highest probability patterns as well too. So right now, pre-market, we are gapping up a bit. So we'll see how we hold throughout the day. Like I said, I'm not planning to take any trades until this afternoon. Once we have that data drop and everything like that. But pretty simple setup on spot today, right? So how we're gonna approach this? 767 is our bottom. 767 is our bottom. So if we hold, we're looking at upside. First target will be 769.2 and then 770, right? We gotta clear this level though for us to go ahead and hit this gap. If we go to the daily real quick, we can see we got a gap, right? We got a big old gap as we gap down today. So we could see a nice gap fill, which would be a nice move. Now, if we fail 767, we have room down to 760. We have room down to 760, which is previous all-time high, and then that will also enter a gap that we have right here that we haven't filled yet. So, and that'll be a nice healthy pullback. That'll be a nice healthy pullback. So from where we are right now, I think that's only about a 1.5% pullback, right? Let's see, 1.2%, right, to that gap fill, 1.2%. So not bad, not bad. That would be healthy, right? We would need to see it move like that before going higher. But we could also, go high off of this 767 if this wants to hold, because we are in an uptrend, right? But if we do fail this level, we should see a nice sell. Okay. So real quick, we can look back previously, right? When we made these highs right here, we pulled back what about 1.2%, right? And then we just previously made a new high, and if we draw that down to where we are now, that's about 1.5%. So it's about the same drop here. So today's session is going to be very important, and if it's not today, it should be tomorrow or Friday. So we should see a good move, and when we kind of been moving pretty sideways for the last couple of days. So hopefully we get some clean price action. So that's the levels we have on SPY, right? SPY, the floor we have is 767. And then we also have 769.2, which is last week's low. Above that, above 770, we have gap fill potential to 772. And we get above that, then we have all-time high. And then below 767, if we can break and hold below that, it's 760, right? So that's a $7 move, or about a $5 move at least. We should see, hopefully. So that's what we got on SPY. And if we do get the downside, the way I like to trade, I would not take the puts at the lows. I would let it break, come back and retest this level, come back and retest this 767, and then that'll be the entry, right? So if we can do that, we'll go ahead and take puts down into 760. And then I'll use 770, right above 770 as my stop. So that's decent risk. If we put on our risk to reward tool, right? Say we get entries off of the 767, we risk 770, right above 770, and then we target 760 in the gap fill, right? It's a nice almost 4-point risk to reward, right? So for visuals, you see we only would really be risking this much for this potential gain, right? So this makes sense. These are the trades we like to take, right? Small risk, big reward. So that's what we have on spot. The next ticker I'm watching is Coinbase, which has been in consolidation for some time now. You can see it on multiple time frames. Here, this is the daily, and you can see clear as day, right? It's just barcoding. It's just sideways. It's ranging in between this 155 and 146, 145, which is a $10 range, right? And so what does that mean? $10 range implies a $10 move on the breakout. So once it can break out of this range, it should move at least $10 to either direction, right? So $10 to the downside will put us at about 136, 135 area. And then $10 to the upside will put us at about 165. And also notice too that we got a gap fill. We got a gap fill to the upside. But this does look like more so of a downside setup right now. And it actually did start to break out at close today. So I'll be watching this. The level I have is 146.32, right? Let's put that down. 146.32 is our floor. And then our top is 155.4. right? So $10 range here. If we stay within this range, it's probably just going to bounce within the range. But if we can get this breakout, we should see about a $10 move. That's the measured move of this range right here, right? And then if we go to the higher time frame, you can see clearly where our target would be. So if we do break down, you can see we got weekly demand, right? This is heavy down here. So between 142 to 138 area. So if we break down out of here, looking for a move down into here. Even though the measure move is down to 136, we got to watch these areas right here because we got some pretty strong bounces on Coinbase off of these levels before. So we got to keep an eye on that. But yeah, this is the weekly. You can see it's been consolidating. So we want to see that range get broken down out of for entries on Coinbase. So Coinbase, two levels. Simple as that. We have the bottom at 146.32, 146 area. The top is 155.5, 155, 156, that general area. So Coinbase, again, this looks more so of a bearish setup right now, but it being a range, it could fake to the downside and it pop up and break out. So we just have to stay nimble and wait for the confirmation. We don't want to be first to the party on any of these trades. We want to see everything, pick a direction first, and then go ahead and retest, and then that'll be our entries, right? So yeah, we'll just be patient. And then the last trade, the last ticker that I have is Google. Google with the G, no L, right? So Google. What I like on Google here is that it's been selling. It's been selling, and it's pretty much off of some lows right here, right? Nice hammer on the day, and holding this daily demand right here at this 340, this 340 level, right? It's also a psychological level. Now we do have a gap below which we didn't fill down to 334, but I'm not too concerned about that as long as this 340 level holds, right? So the level that we have on Google is today's high, right? So which is yesterday's high, my apologies, 342.39. So let's go ahead and plot that. 342.39. And like I said earlier, won't take the initial breakout, but break, retest that level, and we in there. We in there for calls. So let's look at the hourly. Hourly looks a little better, right? So we can see how Google's been selling, right? Google's been selling, and these are the kind of trades that I love to take because of the risk to reward, right? So if we can catch it off of here and it holds, this is the bottom, and it has all this room up to run. So Google is down about 11% from highs. So, and Google is a big name. So we can see a nice move off of this, right? So I wouldn't take it anywhere around here. I want to see it break this 342.39, which is today's high. Break that, retest, and then we in there. And then you can see we don't have any target right until up here first, which is 347 area. 347 area would be the first target. That's about a $5 move on Google. Yeah, and then above that, man, we got room all the way to 355. So this thing could squeeze. Google could squeeze, man. So definitely keep an eye on Google today. So these are the three setups I like today. They all fire setups to me. They should move, if not today, tomorrow, or Friday. But yeah, these are setups I like, man. It's 4:50 right now, a.m. Ready for the day. Ready for the day, right? So we have clear levels. We have clear entries. All we got to do now is just sit back and wait for prices to go ahead and give us entries and direction. And then we in there, right? So we got good entries with some good risk. So let's see what we get today for FOMC. So that's all I have. Much love, man. Trade safe today.